You ever meet someone who's just brilliant on paper, like off the charts smart, but they kind of struggle in life? And then you know someone else who maybe isn't a genius, but everything they touch just seems to turn to gold? Well, it turns out there's this other kind of smart at play, and it might be even more important for success. Let's get into what that is. So, if it's not just about being book smart, raw intelligence, then what is it? What's that one thing that research shows might be way more powerful at predicting success in pretty much every part of our lives? And there it is. The answer is emotional intelligence, or EQ. Think about it like this. IQ is kind of like the horsepower of your brain's engine, all that logical reasoning and problem solving. But EQ, that's the driver. That's how you actually use your emotions to handle challenges, build real relationships, and crucially, bounce back when you get knocked down. It's that other smart we were just talking about. Okay, so what is emotional intelligence, really? Well, at its core, it's the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions. And here's the part that's a total game changer. It's not just about your own emotions. It's also about being able to see and influence the emotions of other people too. It actually breaks down into these 5 main areas. You've got self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Now, to make this super practical, we're going to tackle these in 2 big chunks. First, we'll look at mastering your inner world, and then we'll see how to use that to navigate the outer world. So let's dive into part 1, mastering your inner world. Because let's be real, you can't really connect with other people if you can't even connect with yourself, right? This is the foundation everything else gets built on. And the absolute bedrock of that foundation is self-awareness. This is all about your ability to see yourself clearly, to know what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and how those feelings are actually driving what you do. Seriously, without this, you're just flying blind. So how do you actually build it? Here's a super powerful first step. Try keeping an emotion journal, just for 1 week. Jot down when you feel a strong emotion, figure out what triggered it, and note how you reacted. I'm telling you, you will be amazed by the patterns that start to pop out. Okay, once you're aware of what you're feeling, the next step is self-regulation. This is all about managing those feelings, especially the tough ones. It's about creating a little bit of space between a trigger and your reaction, giving you the power to choose how you respond instead of just letting your impulses take over. And a killer technique for this is what's called the pause and reframe. So next time you feel that rush of frustration and your brain immediately goes to, "This is so unfair," just pause, take a breath, and try reframing it to something like, "Okay, this is challenging, but I can handle it." It's a tiny shift, but it moves you from feeling like a victim to feeling in control. And the last piece of this inner world puzzle is motivation. Now, this isn't just about making a to-do list. It's about using your emotions as fuel. People with high EI, they know how to channel their passion and their drive to keep going, even when things get really, really tough. And the secret here is to find your why. For any goal you have, big or small, ask yourself this question. Why does this really, truly matter to me on an emotional level? Finding that answer, that's the rocket fuel that creates real energy and resilience. All right, so once we start getting our inner world in order, we can move on to part 2. This is where we take all that self-awareness and self-control and start using it to make our interactions with other people so much better. The bridge from our inner world to the outer world is empathy. This is the skill of really tuning into other people. And it's not about having to agree with them. It's about genuinely trying to understand where they're coming from and what they're feeling. That's the secret sauce for building trust and connection. And you want to know the best way to practice empathy? It's active listening. Here's a simple 3-step process. 1, focus completely. No phones, no distractions. 2, summarize what you heard them say back to them in your own words. And 3, this is the most important part. Ask them if you got it right before you jump in with your own thoughts. And finally, all of this leads to social skills. This is where all the other pieces of EI just come together perfectly. It's about using your self-awareness, your regulation, and your empathy to build rapport, communicate clearly, and handle disagreements without things blowing up. This is what makes a great leader or a great friend or a great teammate. And here's a fantastic tool for your toolbox, the I statement. Instead of blaming someone by saying, "You always do this," which just makes them defensive, you use this formula. It lets you explain how you feel and what you need without starting a fight. It opens the door to finding a solution together. So we have the theory, which is great, but how do we actually make this stuff stick? That brings us to our final part, making it a habit. Because emotional intelligence isn't something you just learn once from a book. It's a skill you have to practice. And look how simple this can be. In the morning, you just set a quick emotional intention for the day, like, today, I'm going to be patient. Midday, when a challenge pops up, you use that pause and reframe technique we talked about. And at night, you take literally 60 seconds to write down one win and one thing you could do better tomorrow. That's it. And to keep yourself honest, you can try this simple weekly check-in. Just rate yourself from 1 to 5 on each of the 5 areas, and then pick one small action step to focus on for the next week. This creates this awesome loop of constant, steady improvement. You know, if there's one thing to really take away from all of this, it's this. Developing your emotional intelligence isn't like studying for a test. You don't just pass and then you're done. It's a continuous, lifelong practice. It's a journey. Which brings me to my final question for you. Don't try to master all 5 of these things at once. Just start somewhere. Looking back at everything we've just covered, what is the one emotional skill you are going to consciously practice this week?